Oh, Sharkness, my old friend. It is I, host Eric, talking to Fence People, here to have the Typology Community Friends with Benefits Q&A Hoedown Extravaganza of Delight. Hi, Planet Ketchup, aka Becky. Hi, INT Jerk. How are you this afternoon? I hope you're doing well. I'm here. And First Last is also here. Hi to you. And I've had a somewhat busy day killing bugs around the house. We've had a bit of a bug problem in the kitchen, and I took everything out of the cabinets and squirted it all with bug killing poison. And now I'm waiting for some caulk. I need some caulk in order to finish the job because I got to put a little bit of caulk in the cracks where the bugs are getting through, just to be double sure I don't get any more bugs. I did empty 2 full cans of Raid into that shit. Diatomaceous earth, we do have that. Borax, I don't know about. Good old caulk. Yeah, nothing beats caulk, as they say. In the game of caulk, paper, scissors, nothing beats caulk. It's well established. Yeah, for filling cracks, nothing beats caulk. So, yeah, I've been killing bugs, and that was kind of tedious activity, I guess. You got to move a bunch of things from the shelves, but I feel satisfied that I got so much poisonous death into the walls. I drilled holes where they might be hiding behind the walls, and emptied a bunch of Raid into there. So I'm gonna caulk them back up and prevent further bug infestation problems. Anyway, we're here today. We're talking typology. We're talking friendship. We're talking urgencies in life. We're talking significant matters and matters insignificant and what makes the difference. We're talking self-development and developing others as well. Plus, what's the opposite of development? Destruction? Demolition? Possibly. The devolution? Okay, Jojo Shabadoo. The digression, stagnation, decrepitation, degradation, reduction, the fall of partification, disillusion. Now I want disillusionment soup. Can I have a bowl of disillusionment soup, please? I'm tired of being fooled by my various illusions. Are you sure you want disillusionment soup? It's pretty disillusioning. Yeah, I want it. Give me a bowl. Okay. Here you go. Dishwasher and corn. Dishwasher water with corn and ketchup. Disillusionment soup. Eat up. LSD soup for me, huh? I don't know if I want LSD soup tonight. That sounds a little bit hardcore for me. I'm kind of a gentle-brained fellow. I don't like to take at it with quite such ferocity as LSD. It seems a little bit drug overboard. Regressing? Yeah, I think regression is the best word. Regression is the best word. Fields of Dragonflies wins. Digression. Planet Ketchup, you were close, but that would be if you were talking. And you digress, right? So I typed somebody who hired me to type them not that long ago. I spent about an hour and a half with them, a little longer. It was a lady, and we started off. I got her ordinals, suggested ENFJ. She'd been told she was an ENFJ before on a couple of occasions. But after I spent the full hour and a half with her, I concluded she's probably an ENTP. It was interesting. It was an interesting case study because I didn't see a shit ton of TI in certain contexts. In other contexts, I saw some indications of it, but she was pretty clearly an NE Dom, and concurrently, pretty clearly FE third slot, which makes her an ENTP, despite the fact the TI wasn't very great. But I don't know. I didn't really test it directly that much. It was an interesting case. I don't think she expected or wanted to be an ENTP at all. She had heard ENFJ, and that was the only indication she'd given me going in was, if I had any probably going in, she was probably an ENFJ. And the initial ordinals results didn't dispute that at all. So I had to come a long way to go, okay, you know what? You're not really an ENFJ. Because she just didn't display the NI. She just didn't display the, I guess, SE maybe. So I don't know. It was an interesting case. So if anybody out there has any questions, any thoughts, any comments, any complaints, queries, concerns, consequences that they would like to invoke upon anybody, or other such matters, please let me know, because I'm here to answer those questions, complaints, concerns, queries, thoughts about things that are both wondrous in nature and horrible in scope concurrently. I'm an ESFP sometimes, apparently. Maybe right now. Maybe that's why I want to put my boobs into a tight shirt and wiggle in front of everybody. Ooh, look at me, I'm an ESFP. Ooh, look at me, and I got some boobies. Ooh, look at me, I'm an ESFP. Look at me. Oh, look at me. That'd be a good ESFP song for an ESFP singer to sing. I think it would win a Grammy for best song about ESFPs. They have a new Grammy category like that. Just whatever topic it is. I know I like to include more cheerleading style cadences in my songs. Like go down the field, score a touchdown, rah, 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 rah is always good to add into any song. Yeah. Kesha, I know she steals my shit. I know it. She's lurking, scoping out everything I say, copying it from me. Playground hand clapping songs. I like the playground hand clapping songs. That'd be a good way to begin a rap about playground hand clapping songs. Is any scatterbrained or absent-minded? Is there a difference between scatterbrained and absent-minded? Are you asking me which of these two is it? Or are you saying is it this or a synonym to this? I would say it's any Dom is going to be absent-minded because they're going to forget what else was going on before they got into whatever it is they're thinking about right now. Azzyland? Who's Azzyland? I don't know who Azzyland is. I'm curious, though. I want to see it now. Azzyland. Big YouTuber, huh? Okay. I'll pull her ass over. I'll pull her over with the YouTube police and say, well, I have to watch it. Could say, you know what? Taylor said you suck, but he's actually really good. Or I could say, you know what? Taylor said you sucked, and he was right, and he was too kind. He said I should find something to put you to jail for. I think I should put you to metaphysical death penalty. At least be on death row. Maybe an example, possible range of possible responses. Anybody else here know who Aziland is? Or heard of that person before? I'm curious how famous YouTubers, how famous they really are, like how much random people know about it. I know I asked you, okay, but I never got clarification about what is meant by that. Are those supposed to be two synonyms for each other, or are they supposed to be representing different things? Because one would normally think of them as being synonyms. Scatterbrain, absent-minded. It's more auto-tune than I've ever heard crammed into a sawbug. It's a lot of auto-tune. Either or. Okay, well, let's say they're synonyms. I would say both intuition types in the dominant function will have a tendency to get, quote unquote, lost in the clouds, which is to say, absorbed in their metaphysical thinking, but not very interested in the physical body and what it's experiencing in the moment. That's going to be true for NI-DOMs and NE-DOMs. If that's considered scatterbrained or absent-minded, then it'll be true for all intuition DOMs. But if in fact you're saying absent-minded is losing track of what you're doing, easily distracted, whereas scatterbrained is easily lost in the clouds, but somehow not easily distracted, well, then NE is more likely to be absent-minded and NI less absent-minded. Hey, man, what do you think about the new Nick Jares album? I don't know. I don't know anything about it. 6.8 million subscribers for Annie, Azzy, whatever. Scatterbrained is mania, absent-minded, inattentive, ADHD. Scatterbrained is mania? So I'm manic, I'm scatterbrained? I don't think so. I don't think that's how it's normally used in any sort of colloquial sense anyway. Maybe that's the official definition, maybe, but I doubt that too. Oh my God, this girl at Target named Brooklyn. She's the most attractive woman I think I've ever seen in my life. She is super loafy. She's got to be like 19 years old though, but she's thick and just so pretty and just so boob filled, and she's just gorgeous. I went there to get bug spray, and I had to go back again and get another can of bug spray. So, obviously I went first. She was manning the self-checkout line. So after I had asked her when I came in, like, where did I get the bug spray? And I went to her self-checkout line. And then when I came back the second time, I went to her. She was working in one of the non-self-checkout lines, so I went to that line too. And I was like, damn, this chick's hot. And so sweet and cute and, oh my goodness, loafy as hell, for sure. For shizzo. Yeah, I'm in on about the synonyms. I did self-check her out. Yes. Times like that, I wish I were an ESTP. An ESTP with no scruples. That's what I wish I were in times like that. That'd be great. Yeah, well, that would be a special moment. That would be a special moment for me. Getting Brooklyn naked would be a pretty special moment. I'd feel pretty proud of myself for that. I'd be like, damn, Eric, you some kind of player. You got Brooklyn from the Target. She's super, super hot. There's another smoking hot chick who's not as sexy, but is more model looking. who works at the UPS store too. So legs are fine, but what you really need are a nice pair of titties. It's well established. I'm driving away all the female audience now, INT jerk. Thanks for being such a jerk. Gosh, it's all your fault. A soul to devote. Is that what you... A soul to devour. Oh, a soul to devout. A soul to devour. A soul to devote. A soul for a shower. A soul in the moat. A soul for an hour. Nico Harrow wants a soul. I'm in it for the laws, Eric. Speak of truths. Oh, it's not surprising. My maleness is not surprising. I think I come off generally as pretty asexual, you know, like not exuding a huge amount of sexual energy. ESTPs exude a lot of sexual energy. Like I'm beginning to think maybe Liz is an ESTP. So-called ENFJ Liz might be an ESTP. What do you think about that, Taylor? ESTP or fiends? ESTPs really are into sexual intercourse. ESTPs drown a lot, but only in puss. That's a funny statement there, Ray Eagles. You come across as a radically inappropriate in a strangely endearing way. Assuming that's directed at me. Thank you, Joey Joe Shabadoo. I am generally very quite non-threatening. Very quite extremely. Why am I adding all those extra adjectives? Anyway, all right, I guess that would be adverbs. I'm pretty harmless. What functions would be best for being good at chess? I think probably the natural best player at chess would be either an STJ who's memorized a bunch of shit from a book about how to play chess, like memorized a bunch of the moves and all the shit like that, right? Or it would be like an INTJ who sort of intuits the best course of action and is aligned with spatiality. That's what I think are going to be your best chess players. I think INFJs are going to be your best, what do you call it? Poker players. INFJs are going to win poker. Like Daniel Negreanu is probably maybe an ENFJ, but probably an INFJ. A lot of good poker players probably are. It costs $60 big for you, Buddy the Elf. If you want to do it, email me. You know, I'll give you at least 70 minutes, 75 minutes. It's and sometimes I go longer than that, like I did today. ISTPs could be pretty good at it, I could imagine. I don't see it as being a TI thing, really, but I could be wrong about that. It could just be my intuition mixed with TI blinds me to the fact that TI can work on that sort of thing. So I am less expensive than DSP. Oh, good. That gives me an advantage. Being right doesn't hurt either, but, you know. Okay. What do you mean? Every time you quote your services, you screw yourself out of more cash. Well, how else are people going to know how much I charge unless I tell them? What kind of strategy game would TI be best at? TI is best, at least with NE. Stratego, maybe. It would be a good choice. I don't get any takers at $100, Joey Jojo Shabadoo. It's like, you know, I get a few takers here and there at $60. I don't really get any takers at $100. Interesting. How much does it cost to First day of superpowers to type you. $1 million? $1 million. Yeah, well, I mean, I want to charge $100 too, but you know, I guess I don't have enough subscribers to get $100 out of people. I'm sure like Jordan Peterson could charge like $1,000 probably to spend an hour with Jordan Peterson typing you, and he didn't even believe in typology. All right. I'm marketing to people who are only making their decisions on a couple of heuristics. Like, I'm aware of the fact that symbols of professionalism go a long way in getting people to take you seriously in what you're doing. If I were to always wear a suit, stay on topic, not pull balls, I used to do pretty good job staying on topic. No, you don't got to pay for type police. You got to pay for a one-on-one typing session, which I definitely always spend more than an hour at it, but sometimes it's much longer, you know. He's always talking about archetypes. I never heard him talking about cognitive functions. Oh, well, you lose tone when you're in text, Nick Harrow, or Nike Harrow. Do you get a discount if you send you GSP audios for the lulz? No, you don't get a discount for that. Such deep wrinkles in my head. It's from old age. Yeah, if I wanted to approach this as a business and take it really seriously as a typing business and make a bunch of typing videos, each of which had like an ad at the end, and did all the end screens and probably do a lot better. I can lie. Skills Dragonflies. All you gotta do is let me know in advance. Listen, I'm coming in here to be told I'm an ENTP. You just blow smoke up my ass, Eric. No problem. I can blow smoke. I know how to do that. I'm an expert smoke blower. Yo, Poobin, can you spare a brother a cigarette?
Yeah.
Thanks, dog.
Yeah.
You're a special lady.
For sure.
Yeah, if I did intend to do that, I think I would find some good success. The problem is, I'm self-indulgent. I mean, there's not really any problem per se, except that I'm both self-indulgent and I'm not a very good businessman. Like, somebody will be like, do you type people? Yeah, I type people. Sure, I'll type you for $60. And I go, I can't afford it. And I go, I'll type you for free if you want. It's like that shit. I gotta stop doing that shit. But that's just how I am. I don't know. I guess it's third slot FE, but Taylor has third slot FE, and he doesn't roll like that. It's the third slot FE with egalitarian and democratic type attitudes of the Alpha Quadrant. Yeah, but it's certainly a plausible thing for me to do. I've been paid by a number of people now to type them. I think they all think it's good. It's money well spent. I think they finished the session feeling as though I've given it my full attention and that I've I've done everything I can intellectually to make sure that I'm not just, you know, blowing smoke up their ass. Go pro, hire a manager, make that cash. Hiring a manager requires me to have already made some of that cash in order to hire a manager. I don't know what they would manage, but I would love for it to have somebody whose job it was to make me more successful and connected, and they were good at their job or something, and got me various like interviews, places, and stuff like that. That would be just heaven on earth. But I don't have money to hire anybody, and I don't know how to do that. I don't know how you'd find somebody. I don't know who I'd find. The TE sounds just like, ugh. Also, you know, I have books that I've written that I don't ever try to get published because the TE sounds, ugh. Well, that'd be great if I could find somebody to work for me in that capacity. I would. Do you think your MBTI can change over time? I've noticed myself changing and curious as to how that works. No, I don't. I don't think your type changes over time. I think your expression of those attentional manners may mature over time. You may become more balanced in your 1-4, for example. You may become more polished in your 3. You may become less reliant on your 2. You may begin to explore spending little bits of time here and there attending to backside shit, you know, trying to attend to it even consciously if you're thinking about it like a lot, like I am. I'll try to attend it via TE when I can. It's not exactly a conscious function, and it doesn't really, I tend to get it wrong all the time. I tend to think the thing I think of TE, which is remembering heuristics, which is really SI, I get that mistaken for TE all the time. But, you know, you can evolve as a human being for sure. And that would entail necessarily, in my opinion, some sort of metaframe, if not this one, something equivalent that would allow you to critique how and why it is you are attending in certain ways and what that means in terms of values, in terms of behavioral expectations, habits, what's likely to work, what's likely to not work, stuff like that. Buddy the Elf, from my vantage point, you seem most trustworthy and knowledgeable in this little typology community out here. Well, thank you, buddy. I'd like to believe I'm fully trustworthy in the sense that I'm not trying to fool anybody. And to the extent that I think things have natural limits, I'm the first to articulate those. You know, don't expect this to do this or that. This is the limit of what it can do, is what I try to maintain, that sort of frame fence around everything to make sure it's meaningful. DSP seems too self-serving and his motives are all about money. I don't think money is a bad motive. It's just not one that happens to motivate me as much as I wish it did. I wish it would motivate me more. I wish it would motivate me a lot more, you know, but it just doesn't. I agree. Also, in what position do you think SI would be in someone who gets extremely nostalgic and fears forgetting certain memories? It's probably in the dominant slot. That sounds like Kimberly. Someone told me I have a sensor-shaped face. Would you say type develops from a tabula rasa, or is it genetic or combination of the two? Everybody asks me this question. I don't know where type comes from. I believe that people are at least mostly defined when they're born, and I'm not sure. That's just my opinion. I have no way of defending that argument or anything. It's a question I've thought about many times, and I don't have an answer to it. What is wrong with the 5-wing 4, 4-wing 5 types? They are not normal. Well, I mean, they're individualist thinkers, I guess. So they're going to be individualists and they're going to be thinkers. Or feelers. I mean, you can be a 5, we use FI, be locked in your judging function, be a 5, and not be judging on logic. So it's not necessarily the case that 5-4s are thinkers or INTPs or whatever. They could be INFPs just as easily. INFPs are more likely to have the 4 in the mix. INTJ, there you go. INTJs could be a 5-wing 4 as well. Although they're a little less likely to, because 5 correlates most strongly with FI and TI. and less strongly with Ni, I would say. I guess that the one that would correlate most with Ni would probably be 7, maybe, or maybe 1. I noticed my 6-slot FI gotten better with age, though I still can't figure it out. It creeps upon me like a heart attack. Well, Kimberly's 6-slot FI is a roaring bear that she's never quite managed to tame. So it sounds like you're doing a little bit better than she is. But I know from watching Kimberly, she seems to have trouble recognizing when her FI is taking over the driver's seat. So that may be the case with 6-slot FI in general, or maybe specific to Kimberly. I'm not sure. When she's in her FI and her SI link, if she's hungry, boy, you know, her FI follows very much in suit with her SI. Now, if you're an INFJ instead, then presumably your FI would follow in suit with your NI. When you see truths that are saddening to you, like you recognize in a moment that that person doesn't have respect for you because you said something dumb and they noted it and you saw the change in their demeanor or something. Well, in that case, then that would presumably link to your FI, that sort of stuff. But what do you think links to your FI? What causes you to feel a lot? Is it when you touch a Bartlett pear with your finger? Fields of dragonflies, I want you to go out and touch a Bartlett pear with your finger and tell me what you feel. Really feel deep down inside. Don't try to cover it up. Don't try to run away from it. Don't try to run away from those feelings. Hi, Eric. How well can ESFP and ISTP do as a couple? Ooh, that's probably trouble, because you got TI polar with TI dom. And so that's going to be a supervisorial style relationship. You've got ISTP as a supervisor of ESFP. Now, Taylor, I don't know if Taylor's still here, but Taylor's in a supervisor relationship, in a romantic relationship, and he seems to do okay with Katie. But in general, people in supervisee relationships are going to have problems because one party's always going to feel like they're 2 moves ahead of the other party in all important matters to both. And all the matters that are important to both, one party's going to feel like they had a significant advantage. The other person's going to feel like they are at a significant disadvantage, and they'll both be right. How well can ESFP and what do you think of BB's claim the strength of the 6 function, saying it's almost as strong as the dominant? Well, I don't like the term strong and weak in general, although I use them sometimes myself. But I would say that the 6 function is effective-ish when called upon, and when you have to, and you will bust it out. And it's not necessarily a function that you hate either. But to say that it's nearly as strong as the dominant is insane, because being somebody who's been using increasing amounts of TE around the house, doing a lot of stuff for Kimberly, basically being Kimberly's TE because she's polar, right? I can tell you that in no way, shape, or form is my 6 function even close to as effective as my TI or my NE. Nowhere close. And it's with a certain begrudgingness that I bust it out, or I have to be in a certain patient mood. Like, the thing about TE is it's slow and deliberate. It's reactive to what's actually going on in front of you. People think of it as being planning or something. Well, it sort of is, but it's being responsive to what's really there instead of what you want it to be. You know, TI, SI, it always wants to approximate things. Well, let's see. I'm going to go replace this window frame. So I know how to basically replace window frames. You just got to pull off the thing and then just going to frame it out with sort of pieces of wood along there. And then it shouldn't be that hard. That's fucking bad TE, because I'm not going to replace the window frame. I should go look at the thing. I'm replacing this particular thing. what specific difficulties am I going to? Oh, the wood's rotted over here. I have to replace this thing as well. You know, TE doesn't do what I demonstrated the first time. That sort of like knowing in advance with deductive reasoning or with SI or with NI or anything else. It acknowledges the need to look at it in its actuality and make decisions as per those actualities. So anyway, yeah, I don't think it's nearly as strong. I think that there's a point in the sixth function where it's at the borderline with your second, and at those points, it's most strong. So I'm best at TE that's most TI-like or TI involving. How about INXPs and NI specifically? Well, INTPs have stronger quote-unquote NI than anybody else with their sixth function, and IFPs are probably the most countervalued with their sixth function. But even so, you want to make an INTP pissed off, NI at them. How do you feel about visual typing? I feel it's like it's something you have in your repertoire to confirm shit that you've established through other more legitimate means. I get thoughts about how people look too. Like, okay, well, this guy's kind of darting their eyes. They seem kind of any, and they seem kind of like they're doing this a lot. You can see the SI seeking or the bad SI. People touch themselves all the time. It's seeking or seventh maybe. So it's like there are visual typing cues, but I don't rely on them to type anybody. They're either consistent with my real typing methodologies or they're inconsistent. But regardless, I'm not going to, maybe if it's very close, I might use a visual thing as a tiebreaker or something. But if I had to pick something, I'd probably just reserve judgment until I was sure. Yeah, it is lack of visual use, for sure. It's countervalued, which means you avoid using it. You'd rather not have to do that shit. You'd rather be operative in your 1-2 to whatever extent it's possible. You'd like to sort of continually be in your 1-2 as long as it's scoring points on your 3. So, yeah, Brody Blue, I think that's the key point. INTPs have a uniquely friendly relationship with using NI themselves for their own purposes. And they have, just the same as everybody else, countervalued NI when it comes to other people using it on them. They don't like to be the recipient of NI. I also don't like to be the recipient of TE. That just restrains my ideation completely and says, do it this way and here's why and yada yada. And it makes it a non-creative endeavor for me. So the one fight that Kimberly and I always have is she wants me to do shit right, and I want to do it how I feel like doing it. I've got a crazy idea, and I've got the drill and some screws right here already, and I want to do my crazy idea. And she's like, and then finally I'm like, okay, fine, I won't do it because then I just have to do it again because you're not going to like it because you never like anything that I decide to do. She likes things that she decides to do. Jung calls what objective? My penis? It's pretty objective. Well, I don't know. I'm not going to lie. My penis is, I think, a feeler. It has an interested calculus. It wants what it wants, and it knows what it wants. And it's not very particularly rational about how to get it. So it's definitely FI above TE. I think my penis is an INFP. I think so. It's not a good decision maker, really. It's hard. It doesn't really pull the trigger. So, that's why I like to be in a relationship, because then my penis is much more bold about exercising their seventh slot SE. Otherwise, it's like it gets shy and it goes like, no, don't go hit on that girl. I know you want to fuck her, but don't go talk to her. All genitals are INFPs? You think so? It's possible. I bet you Taylor would not say that his genitals are INFPs. He'd probably say his genitals are ESTPs like him. Mine are a little more tender than that. I've got some tenderness in my heart. I've got some moisture, some dampness, some salty saline. And, well, that's where the feeling comes in. Feeling needs a very moist, damp environment to fester. So if you're a feeler, that's why you have so much moisture in you. Would I cut it off for $1 billion, my penis? Would I cut off my penis for $1 billion? Can I sew it back on? $1 billion. Penisless, but with $1 billion. I mean, I'm already pretty old. That's a tough one. Probably not. And if I could sew it back on, probably I would, but I'm sure I'd regret the fuck out of it for at least a day or two. $1 billion gets me a lot closer to the presidency, but not having a penis probably takes me some distance away from the presidency as well. If it were public knowledge that I had to chop off my penis to get $1 billion. I don't want to be a come up woman, Buddy the Elf. I'd just be a guy with a dick chopped off. I'd say, we dickless men need special privileges. No, I wouldn't be a eunuch. Not chopping off my balls. I'd just be de-penised. Do I put out after the first date? I've been known to. If the lady is particularly gentle and loving, then yes. And she has to take me to 3 different places at the same time. So I want dinner, I want dessert, and I want coffee. Then maybe. I'm pretty prudish like that. So here's the deal. If you are somebody who enjoys sexual intercourse and you're currently single, you should go have sexual intercourse. Or if that doesn't work for you because you don't really want to have sex with people you don't really know that well, then what you need to do is get into a relationship. If I go to a fancy restaurant, do I wear a tuxedo? I don't own a tuxedo. It would have to be a very, very fancy restaurant for me to rent a tuxedo to go to it. I would guess it would have to be a special occasion, such as Groundhog Day or a wedding. So I appreciate the fact that you're concerned and that you're British. That makes me take your question a lot more seriously than I otherwise would have. I hate it when unconcerned non-British people ask me those kind of questions. But from you, it's okay. Just think about it. Hello, everyone. This is The Thinker with a new name, but I plan on changing to something else since it is a common name on YouTube. This name that I'm using now isn't that common, but common enough. I see. Why'd you put it around backwards? Call yourself Retinit. 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 Tomato. What's my favorite movie? When asked that question in the past, I have historically said, and I think it's a good answer, is Nightmare Before Christmas. I really like that movie a lot. It's one of my favorites. Another one of my favorites is The Princess Bride. I really like that movie a lot. So those two would be ones that I would name. Now, fanny packs. Big fan. Big fan of fanny packs. The reason is it's like extra pocket, but if you put everything in one thing, then it's easy to find them. I have a problem, a serious problem, is that probably it should be classified as a disability, which is no matter what I'm looking for in my pockets, it's always in the last pocket I look in. And I always have like 14 pockets. So it can be quite time consuming and frustrating. A fanny pack solves those things, as does a chest fanny pack like Kimberly got me. I don't even know those things existed, but it's like a fanny pack that goes around your chest like a sash. But I never remember to wear them is the problem. I just end up putting my shit in my pockets like usual because it's an extra thing. You know, it's like an extra article of clothing. John Locke or Rene Descartes? Well, are you asking me which one I want to have sex with? Let's see. Which one seems like a better lover, Descartes or Locke? I'm going to say Descartes. He's got more of a girly name. I don't really adhere to the thinking of either of those parties, but I guess I would say John Locke over Rene Descartes. Just because Descartes didn't really say a whole hell of a lot. He was mostly talking about this girl he saw at the store that he thought was cute. I usually experience things in my mind when considering moral dilemmas or anything that isn't super abstract. Would this be an example of SI or NI or neither? Well, what things do you experience in your mind? Do you experience wonder and delight in your mind? Do you experience a captivating feeling of awe? Or do you experience a tingling sensation right at the base of the cerebellum? Hello. Good night, Bruce Wayne. Good night. Are you going to sleep? Just think about it. That's vague. What should I think about? The vagueness? That is vague. What vagary is intended with this vagueness? I'm thinking about it. I don't know what conclusion I'm supposed to drop. How is FE used differently between INFJs and ISFJs, if at all? Well, I think that INFJs use it in a more effective way if you're measuring across time, and if you're saying, how effective is this person at controlling the other person's perceptions in general and in managing the other person's liking of you in general, it's going to be the INFJ. The ISFJ is much more of a real-time FE user. And to the extent that they are across time, it's remembering anniversaries, birthdays, events, remembering to check in periodically. That's the ISFJ's long-term FE strategy. The INFJ's long-term FE strategy sort of keeps track of all the nuances of the FE in a way that the ISFJ doesn't. So INFJ will think, oh, well, I've done this and that recently, and so because I know these weird things about this other person, I know if I follow up with something a little bit critical here and then follow up with something positive again, it's going to have this sort of social impact on them. And it's like they're much more intuitive about the whole thing. Let's see. Would you play Russian roulette for 1 million, a 6-chamber, one in the chamber? No. For $1 million? No. Not for any amount of money, I wouldn't. I don't want to take that big of a chance of dying. I'd play Russian roulette with my nose. I'd take a chance of blowing my nose off for $1 million. It'd have to be a very small bullet, too. I want headphones, or, earmuffs to cover my ears so I don't get hearing damage. And would that make INFJs gifted at marketing? Yeah, presumably, and ENFJs as well. They are as gifted at marketing as they are able to be motivated into extroverted sensing and doing shit. I have no idea how this worked, but I took different Myers-Briggs more than once for validity and got INTP on my paper class paper. I think otherwise, even though my friends think otherwise. That's a strange comment. I'm not sure what you mean by I think otherwise, even though my friends think otherwise. You mean your friends think you're INTP, but you don't? How would I approach typing myself? Well, I mean, the first thing you got to do is just begin to observe your own cognition, which means how is it that you're actually going about your day thinking? When you know things, are you knowing via SI or via NI? That's a question you should ask yourself. What does that mean? Well, the potato touching example. So let's talk about touching potatoes. Okay. There was a situation I had at the Norm's restaurant. The last time Kimberly and I went, before last night, I noticed, because we sit at the counter, which is right up where they deal with the food prep and food service and stuff, I noticed that the waitresses touched your potato when the baked potato, when they put the butter on. They touched it to squeeze it to make it open up, right? So,
root beer or orange bag?
Whichever one you don't want.
I am fine.
Oh, thank you. So, my point about this story. Can I have the cigarettes?
No.
Thank you. Kimmy. Nobody goes to that game. So, okay. Kim and I went there last night. We ordered meals. And what I remembered was the previous time, watch out, Eric. If you order a meal, you have to worry about them touching your baked potato. So the food came, the first couple of courses came, the soup and the salad came. And the whole time I was eating those, I was paying attention to, gosh, my baked potato is going to get touched. I'm worrying about this. And since I'm sitting right there, I'm watching for my baked potato so that it gets touched or whatever. Well, then soon enough, my food comes, as does Kimberly's, and there's no pause between pulling it off of the thing and bringing it over to us. Why is that the case? Because I ordered rice pilaf. I didn't get a baked potato. And Kimberly got mashed potatoes. She didn't get a baked potato either. So there was no touching of our baked potatoes. Now, the thing to take away from this is that's the reality of being an SI user versus an NI user. I was an SI user because I was remembering that a rule of sorts that I had come up with the time before, which was that if you order a meal, watch out because they'll touch your baked potato. Now, at the time, what I thought to myself as a solution was, well, just keep an eye on them when they get your baked potato. At the time, I wasn't ordering anything because I already ordered something that wasn't a meal. It was just like a hamburger and fries or whatever, rather than the full meal with the courses. So I knew it wasn't a matter of concern for me right then. If it never really occurred to me to think about, well, what if you don't order a baked potato? You don't have to get the baked potato. You could get rice pilaf, you get mashed potatoes. So anyway, the point of it is when it came time for me to fret about it, that this most recent time, I didn't access the NI truth, which is I didn't order a baked potato, and neither did Kimberly, and not because of not to avoid them touching it. Just I didn't want baked potato. I wanted rice pilaf. So I didn't put that together, though. I didn't put the NI truth together. Since I didn't order a baked potato, I don't need to worry about them touching my baked potato. And instead, I fretted about it until the plate came, and I realized I had relied on my SI instead. My SI tells me I remembered from the time before to worry about this, and so I'm worrying about it without thinking about the actual situation right in front of me, or allowing the clues that are right in front of me to collapse into an NI, because I'm NI ignoring. I think it's higher. The probability of a child having ADHD is if Both the parents always also have it. I'd say it's higher than it would otherwise be. Yes, my choice to use that anecdote to demonstrate SI is very SI. I do that all the time. I provide examples from my own life that are, I hope, illustrative. I have another SI example where very similar sort of situation. I was going to pick up Ruben from the courthouse, and I was thinking in my head about where I was going to go after I picked him up. It was down there in the same area where I could get this vinyl stuff for cheap, this iron-on vinyl stuff that Kimberly wants. And then I'm thinking about all this stuff, where I'm going to go downtown after I get Ruben. I forget where I'm going, as I often do. It's like I sort of look around, I'm like, where am I going in the car? Where am I driving to? Because I'm lost in my head thinking about all the random shit, right? So I didn't use NI in that instance. I didn't look around where I was cognitively at that moment, thinking about going downtown and try to figure out from those clues where I was going. I reached back in my mind. I thought back to when I was at home and when I had made the decision to leave. And I remember sitting in here with Kimberly and going, okay, Kimberly, oh shit, I forgot. I got to go get Ruben right now. And then I remembered, I'm going to get Ruben. Of course, the clues were all right in front of me, but I'm NI ignoring. So I used SI instead. And that's how SI works. It looks backwards into your past, right? So the long answer to that question is you got to learn to check yourself for that kind of shit. How do you actually think and stuff? Let's see. This is going fairly quickly. Okay. Cigar Floyd, do you sympathize with LA gang members or do you look down on them? I mean, I don't. Both. I always get INTP, but I'm not into technology nor care how things work, etc. That's not necessarily exclusive of INTP. When making a decision, I form a scene in my head, and then as if I am really in the situation, and then I make a decision about it based on what I come up with. So you're saying you imagine the situation, and do you visualize the various components of the situation as pictures in your head? If that, then I would say it's probably NI. I have a hard time assessing how I think. I just think by thinking. Well, I mean, you could certainly note situations like that. Like when you have a lost item, you've lost your keys or something. How do you go about finding them? Do you look in places where they usually have been left or most likely will be left, where somebody would generally lose keys? Or do you try to seek back in your memory, where was I last when I had them? Now, that's a learned SI technique that I think even NI people can learn to do and have probably been told, well, where did you last see them? What's your habit? What's most comfortable to you? What's your inclination? They seem to be in tech at the same time, kind of clunky, like they have a smartphone that's 5 years old. Accurate because it's difficult to be objective with oneself. That's true, and also they're clumsy for a number of different reasons. No more Dwarven Piss. Well, this is kind of equivalent to Dwarven Piss. This is Orange Bang. Are all INTPs pretty much lazy? Yes. What do you think? Probably I read that one. Any protected from potato? They're lazy unless it's an intriguing subject, or they're highly motivated by something, which sometimes they are. Well, making it, I already read that. Same. I have to meow the pia with a mew. What does it say? What types like to have imaginative interviews or create scenes in their head and play them out? Well, I mean, I do that. I do that a lot too. It's just not very visualized. And I do it in an SI sense, though. There's certain things I remember that give me a great deal of juice. Like remembering the time when I went into the city of Pomona and told my story about getting pushed by the cop. That's a really like gives me a lot of juice to think back to that. Where all these people are like, I'm the center of attention. Everybody's writing these things down. I have a righteous cause. I'm speaking very eloquently about it. The private investigator who's brought in, presumably to operate on behalf of the lawyer who's representing the guy who got tased, is increasingly impressed and delighted as he listens to this thing because I'm very articulately destroying any possible case the cops might have as to why they were justified in doing this shit. And it couldn't have been any more just wheelhouse payoff for me emotionally. Forget the $5,000, which was nice, but it's like that whole process was just so juicy. I think back about it often when I'm driving in the car and I picture certain aspects of it or go through the dialogue of it again and stuff in my head. It's kind of a self-indulgent pleasure, I guess, but makes me tear up when I think about it. My friend often forgets where they're driving, just starts making turns whenever they feel like it. ENFP? Yeah, probably. I definitely use NI over SI. Those examples sound almost insane. I recently discovered people can see pictures in their heads. Yeah, I'm not really great at visualizing either. I see sort of pictures-ish things. Americans have recently been permitted to eat baked potatoes. It was I think Trump recently allowed baked or mashed, depending on which part of the country you're in. No, not for Mexicans, of course. No potatoes for Mexicans. I use tiles. Congratulations. I assume something. God damn this thing. All the way down here. Come on. Come on now. Yes, Stephanie Douglas. This is Typology Friends with Benefits Q&A and Meetup. The benefits are we get to hang out together and enjoy each other's company. That's a real benefit. Let's see. For a TI type, it's more about the actual process than the end result. I agree with you, first last. Do any of you guys know of an athletic NI dom? No. I don't, now that you mention it. You've dropped out of university 4 times. You need to stop re-enrolling. In order to reach maximum human ability, but you choose moisture over cheese, you need both. You need different kinds of humidities because you need different kinds of cheeses. Obviously. Ends up with them having empty life. Empty life. Oh, empty life. You need to fill up your life with something other than emptiness. You empty life person, you. What's the difference in attitude between an SJ policeman and an SP policeman? Well, I think probably the SP would be more, would be less predictable, more likely to fly off the handle or something. And SJ would probably be by the book. They do everything by the book. They like to know the book and do it by it, you know. Is NI paired with SE because of how it uses knowledge to represent a situation, not from experience, but by clues which SE is gathering experientially? Yes, well put. That's one reason why it's paired with it.
Of course you're out there.
Am I out here? Yes. Did you get me a cock? You know I need cock. I desperately need it. I do. I'm trying to fill these cracks in the cabinet, and cock is the prescribed material for that.
Of course.
So yes, did you get me cock?
No. Did you get me cock?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, let me have shaky poo. Cammy, put her on me properly so she doesn't do that.
Oh, Eric.
Gosh.
Eric.
Yes, Red. I know what an important chicken friend you are. Very important chicken friend. So this is my chicken friend, Red.
We forgot to do like cardstock. We forgot to do
You forgot to change the setting.
to cardstock. This is light cardstock.
Then this should be fine.
Good.
Did it go a little too hard or what?
This looks shitty.
Okay, well, try pulling them out and see what they look like.
Well, first of all, it's not even big enough. For
Okay, well, let's not fret about it now. It's already 5:15, so. Red wanted to come on. She wanted to talk to you guys about some typology things, and her job was a officer in the type police. So, Red, what was it you wanted to say? I want to say, be careful out there, or I'm going to throw you in the slammer.
Jesus.
Red, that's not where you're supposed to be. Come back here. Red, stop.
You're embarrassing Dad.
I know, it's a chicken.
You're to me.
Here. There. Just stay right there. There. Okay.
You're stressing her out.
I'm sorry, Red. I apologize. I know. Did I upset you? I'm sorry. I really am.
She's mad at you.
I'm sorry. Please forgive me.
Come here, baby girl. I know, Dad's nutty.
Yeah. So anyway, she was complaining earlier. She's like, I can't believe these people out there claiming to be types, not even taking any concern. I want to go out there and throw them all in the slammer right now. She's very aggressive as a police officer. I try to calm her down, but half the people we come into foul with, they end up dead. Yeah. I don't think penguins can fly. No, I'm pretty sure they can't. They can swim, however.
One thing I did learn about penguins is they have knees.
Penguins have knees. You may have heard from Kimberly there, which also means that they have potentially knee problems. So, what a good chicken. What an important chicken friend. She really is a very important chicken friend. She doesn't want she doesn't want you teasing her like that.
I like to tease her.
Yeah, you need penguin knee replacement surgery. That's why they have a full-time vet at the Antarctic. What was the first? Let's see. Penguins find a partner and stick with that partner for life.
Isn't that so sweet?
Yeah, it's pretty cute of them. Was the early human who first sang and created music an NE user, an NI user who heard a bird or animal sing? I don't know. Probably there was imitations of animal sounds before there was a real clear intuition of pitch. I would say NI links most strongly to truths of music, though. I think the chicken's an ESFJ. She's quite friendly. She's quite. She has a lot of personality. She's currently pecking Kim's ring. Why is she doing that? I have no idea.
Telling me to tell her dad to marry me.
Is that what she's doing, Kim?
Yeah. Your daddy did put a ring on it. He just doesn't want to marry me.
Oh, Kim, you need to just stop with your constant complaining, lady. Okay, so we're going to have dinner with Abe. What time is it? 6:30?
6:30.
You know where we're meeting him yet?
No.
Do you have any ideas on that?
No.
Is he coming over to our neck of the woods, or are we going over there?
No idea.
Kim, you're supposed to be setting this shit up, dude.
I set up the appointment time, and that was it.
Okay, well, don't we need to decide about that?
Well, you probably need to
In the live stream?
And your live stream and...
My lime stream. Okay. So, friends, neighbors, countrymen, neighborly friends of the same country, let us stream our limes together. Those of you who still drink alcohol, I encourage you to get some limes tonight, a little bit of tequila. Have at it. You just have yourself a little party at home in the kitchen tonight, okay? Those of you who don't drink alcohol, don't do that. Obviously, just pull some bowls. I'm going to pull a couple before I go here. I'm in no massive hurry. So as we're winding down, if you got any last pressing questions that you've been hoping to ask for the last 5 years, you've only finally screwed up the courage. You want Red to say goodbye?
Red, say goodbye.
Bark, bark, bark.
Yes, my
good girl. Bark, 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 bark. Bark, 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 bark. Oh, getting sleepy. Yes, you are. What a good chicken. Yeah, she is a very good chicken, needless to say. She's by far my favorite chicken ever. Does Red like to work with caulk? No, we haven't had her doing any caulking. She does help get bugs, but not in there because we poison in there, so there's no eating those bugs.
No, but even when there was a rooster around, she wasn't interested.
That's a different kind of caulk, Kim.
Oh.
Is the chicken litter trained? No, but she has discretion. She tries not to poop in the house, but she does still occasionally poop in the house.
I don't think she tries not to. I think she just, as she's spent more time in the house, she's less apt to just shit everywhere.
These fucking children next door are terrible. What times is the easiest time writing and reading speeches? Probably INTPs or INTPs. Yeah, sometimes. Occasionally I'll eat a little bit of weed. But the problem that I see is you either get too high or not high at all. And it's not a particularly good high. It's different. I do use edibles for other kinds of regular food, though. So, for example, if I'm hungry, I'll usually use edibles like macaroni and cheese or something to get full.
You like those hot dogs?
Hot dogs, good. Hamburgers, lots of different kind of edibles.
We just buy you freeze-dried food, squirt it with a little bit of water.
My diet's nothing but Tang and astronaut ice cream.
Who's the best chicken on the planet? Who's the best chicken on the planet?
No, we're never going to eat that chicken.
Who's the best chicken on the planet?
Well, what gets me higher, edibles or huge bong rip? Well, edibles probably, if I ever eat enough of them, would definitely get me higher. I can get a lot higher from edibles than I can smoking. I could smoke all the rest of this whole jar of weed, and I would still wouldn't get as high as if I ate too much edibles. But who wants to eat too much edibles? Is any paired with SI because as any has come up with potential action ideas is representational action is using SI to find patterns and what could happen. I mean, I think SI tells you where you're starting from. It goes, here's what happened. And any goes, well, what are some possible explanations? Or here's meh. Okay, Kim. Would you chop Eric's head off for $1 billion if no consequences were to come? So it would definitely look like an accident. Or let's put it this way: for $1 billion, there's a guillotine blade swinging right towards my neck. I was oblivious, and you could push it out of the way so it wouldn't chop my head off, or you could not. If you choose not to, you get $1 billion. What do you think?
If I choose not to?
If you choose not to prevent it from chopping off my head.
Oh, yeah. Just kidding.
So the answer is yes, buddy. She would. No problem. I feel like that was surprisingly easy.
Actually, that's actually not the truth. Money is not impressive to me.
Kim's already been rich before in her life. What's my Enneagram type? 784. Possibly 748. Oh, I love my chicken so much. I have so much FI for that chicken. It's crazy. What is 6th slot FI like? ISFJ, INFJ. Tends to take the reins from him a bit. Me? Probably a 4-wing 5. I'm not a 4. I'm a 7. I'm probably a 7-wing 6, 8-wing 7, 4-wing 5. That'd be my guess.
You planning on taking a shower at all this week?
Oh, yeah. I'm going to take a shower in your vaginal juices.
Eric.
That's how I get clean.
Eric.
Tell me what? I was just joking around.
Take a shower before we go to dinner with Dave.
Oh, right. I forgot about that. Yeah, I'd like to. You seem like the most laid-back 7 you've ever seen. I am 47 years old. You're 10, wing. There's no such thing, sunbeaming. There's no such thing as that. Okay?
You need to wrap it up so we can find out what we're doing.
Now you're gonna make me go take a bath. God. Yeah, shut up, Wing. Shut up, dummy. God. Okay, I gotta go, you guys. Thanks for live streaming with me.
Bye.
Don't forget to rock and roll.